I can't breathe. Black Lives Matter. Hello. We thank everyone who contributed positively to this effort. We remain dedicated to racial equality and opposition to hatred, and this shall continue to be reflected in our enforcement of the rules. I want to start by saying that when I say Black Lives Matter minus there is an implied to at the end. I am not saying my life matters more, or your life matters less. Just that mine is equally important and not viewed as such by, unfortunately, many people. All lives matter is disrespectful because it negates the purposeful attention we are trying to draw to black injustice specifically. I need you to please understand that racism is not the racism they taught us in school anymore. Modern racism is giving black people higher interest rates or bad loans, which a bank was sued millions for doing in 2017. Its realtors purposely not showing black people houses in nicer areas. Its companies only hiring 1 to 5 black people for their quota, and not for their merit, which is ironically racist towards whites who potentially deserved it more, minus spurring more division. Its colleges only accepting black people to make themselves look good on paper instead of actually valuing that student's strengths and potential. It's enforcing laws in school that don't allow black people to wear their natural hair because it is unprofessional and a distraction to other students. It's makeup companies only having 1 to 3 dark foundation shades because we are a demographic without money and thus not worth pursuing, minus and then suddenly coming out with more shades once they see how successful Rihanna was when she acknowledged us. It's crooked police purposely going into low-income areas, scanning license plates, and purposely ticketing people they know cannot afford it, so that they will go to jail for outstanding tickets and become a part of the for-profit prison pipeline. It's fashion companies and movies using damaging stereotypes of black people instead of showing how diverse and beautiful our people are, thus instilling an untrue idea of what black people are to others across the world. Imagine you from a place with no black people, minus if all the movies and shows portray us a certain way, you'll assume that must be true. When I first started at my old place of employment, a very nice tech company, I had a black janitor stop me one morning as I was heading up to the office, tears in his eyes. He gripped my shoulder, his hands frail, wrinkled, minus, and told me how proud of me he was. How happy he was that a little black girl was working at one of them tech companies. I hugged him and told him thank you. When I tell you I ran to the bathroom and bawled my eyes out. I was so grateful, but that is a heavy burden to carry, minus not only was I working for me, I was working for him, for all my ancestors who didn't have a chance. And when I was let go 2 months ago, it hit hard because it felt like not only did I fail me, I failed them. I realize it was not my fault. A virus hit the country and I was a part of a mass layoff. But do you see how race played into my emotional state? Something most others wouldn't have to deal with. So please, when you see Black Lives Matter, when you see protest, know that all we're asking for is change. Yes, we have civil rights, but why are you scoffing at us asking for more? Why are we expected to accept the bare minimum? As a kid, mind you, I was born in 1996. I was given the talk that my skin means I have to conduct myself a certain way, in certain environments, for my own safety. That people will fear me for simply having too much melanin. That I will be black first, you're a lovely second until I die. I am trying my hardest to create a future where I don't have to give my kids that same speech, where I don't have to pass down that generational trauma. If you have questions about the protesting, the movement, modern racism, minus, ask me please. I know it can be a heated topic and the only way to change that is to have an open dialogue and educate. This is me offering the olive branch, me saying I am hurting and still have nothing but love in my heart. Too often we are too busy trying to share our thoughts that we don't hear others. Edit. I've gotten a lovely amount of responses, minus him in Boston, and it's currently 12:13 am. I'm trying to get a semi-regular sleep schedule on track, so I'll probably be heading to bed soon. Please know if I don't get back to you tonight, I will tomorrow. All love and hugs from me. Thank you for making a girl feel heard. I just have to say I've seen some very negative things about the whole situation on some different subreddits. Even my own city subreddit, which I thought would be fully supportive, turns out they are the complete opposite. But there's been a whole lot of love, caring, and support coming from most subreddits, and I truly appreciate it. It means the world, honestly. Regardless of your stance, political or otherwise, I think we can all agree that something needs to change within the laws. I'm really starting to think 2020 is now officially a year worthy of history books. God, I remember 4 months ago watching videos of police officers in China silencing the HK protesters, thinking about how insane it was then. Now I wake up and see the same thing happening to the BLM protesters. To anyone who plans to go out and protest, please remember to wear a mask, not only because of the virus but also to help protect you from inhaling tear gas, and some form of eye protection. Swim or ski goggles are ideal, but sunglasses will also work, to keep you safe from pepper spray. Don't be afraid to defend yourself if worst comes to worst. I saw a live stream from Charleston where they were organizing and getting ready to march. The police were right next to the protesters and the two parties were talking and working with each other about what needs to be done so that everyone involved can go home safely after. It was very civil and honestly uplifting to see black protesters working with white police officers in this political climate, and in a way that makes sure no one gets hurt. Innocent people don't lose homes or business. Another protester got up and said that he talked to the neighborhood association asking permission to use certain streets and how they need to be respectful of the property because destroying it isn't going to help anyone. But then, some stupid little white kid got up, and I quote, "They want us to be peaceful. We need to fuck everything up to get our point across." He was met with boos and blank stares. The whole stream was a great example on how the peaceful people in the crowd protesting are the ones who want real change and the rioters don't care about the cause. They just want to watch this country burn. Literally and metaphorically. I'm not American, but I can see this cycle happening again and again. Something happens. People get angry, riot, promises made, things settle down. Nothing happens until something happens and it starts all over again. Seems to have been happening decade after decade. And #XB. I'm curious on what solid reforms and changes that need to start the day after protests / riots stop from the view of minorities. What are those things that you've been waiting decades? I want to go on record saying I attended a protest in a small Tennessee town tonight, for a short while, and while I was there it was not the protesters who got violent. They were very kind to me when I asked if I could take and document, when I explained that I would not post them under my own name out of respect for the tragic event, and as I set up my camera, all they did was give me their blessing, nod, and go back to yelling "fuck racism, fuck the KKK, what do we want? Justice, what was his name? George Floyd, and peace, love, unity, on loop." It was an older white male or good old southern boy who started the first skirmish. He yelled at the protesters, telling them to shut up about the KKK as they couldn't possibly understand, and told them if they didn't comply he would make them. When they continued to protest, he walked up to them and began to yell even louder. He jabbed a finger towards them, and when a protester did it back, defending their personal space, he screamed that they had better not do it again. Police surrounded the town square a minute later, sirens on, lights blazing, as officers descended on the scene. The officers behaved as they should have. They separated the protesters and the man. Officers stayed with the protesters, even as they started chanting again, while others appeared to be interrogating the man. As I walked back to my car, the man was in cuffs being led to a police car. As I pulled out of my parking spot, all the police cars were gone, and the protest had resumed peacefully. The protesters, while I was there, were not the issue. People with archaic views were. As a black man, seriously, this comment section is exactly why I'm away from social media these days. I'm deeply hurt by what you're saying, and before you post SMTH, remember there are actual human beings with feelings reading your comments. Edit. A lot of amazing people commented. I want to say thank you so much for being an ally, and thank you for helping me with your kind words, and Kid Stranger, thank you for the gold. Today I flipped back and forth between CNN and Fox News. It was interesting to see how the broadcasting was so opposite to each other. I am definitely against police brutality and racism. The riots and looting aren't helping, but I get why it's happening. Try to be safe, everyone. To everyone going out and protesting tonight, good luck and please stay safe. We need an end goal. It's not enough to say we want change. We need specific demands that until met the protests won't stop. I just don't know how we come up with that. To all the people saying all lives matter. No one's saying other people's lives don't matter. That's not the point. If Simeon's house was on fire, would you say, all houses matter, and make the firefighters go to all other houses before getting to the house that was on fire? No, you'd say, right now, that house is on fire and they need help. Because right now they matter. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. Subscribe, like and comment if you hate outros. Begging you to subscribe, like and comment.